Ollie Watkins misses the ball in the 6-yard box. It's an absolute easy tap-in as well. If he connects with the ball at all, it goes in. Unless he connects with it like Jacob Ramsey connected with his one.
Did he know Diaby was there?
It's a dummy to Diaby. I'm sure if that was intentional, that's nominated for the what the fuck award. You get me dummy in the ball to Diaby, given how he was playing today.
Would you want to bet against us?
That morning sky gave me a look, so I left while you were sleeping. That's all it took.
I figured out what it is that I love so much about Emery. He wants to win. And you might think that's an awful simplistic way of viewing what this man has done for us in 2023, but that's ultimately what it all stems from, a genuine desire to win. Like that Burnley match was painful at times, a lot of the time I'd say, and when we missed those chances and they got that easy goal, I actually had a wry smile. I was even thinking, you have to respect football, don't you? Something almost poetic about it. You don't take your opportunity, you get smacked in the face, and you get smacked hard, and it happens sure as day. Like, you will get punished if you don't take your chances, and there is something nice knowing that's true. Shit when it happens to you, but another manager would have felt sorry for themselves, would have felt like me. So many other managers, and we've had most of them down through the fucking years, they would have already bored us to tears before this game, talking about the injuries and the suspensions, and they would have spent the last 12 minutes of that game preparing their press conference. It's somebody else's fault that the players ballsed it up. We didn't take our chances. Injury, suspensions, 12 minutes to go for Unai Emery. He turned to the crowd, lifted his arms, started roaring, telling the fans to come on, get behind us. It doesn't matter how we're playing. It doesn't matter how well I can dress up this draw. I just want to win. And when you put a man that intense, that smart, that experienced, that hungry underneath that pure desire to just win every match, no excuses. You get the year that we have just had. You get the 2023 that we've just had. One of the greatest years of my life. Second only to Man City in the 2023 league. The best home record all year long. An absolutely brilliant December now that it's all said and done. And we only have 2 league games in January, so we can catch a breather, maybe even upgrade. And we've got a united fan base looking at 18 games to go, thinking, bring it on. I just want to win too.
Yeah, one of the greatest years of your life, Conán. And you probably forgot there as you were just saying that you also got married this year as well. But maybe it's the hope for the new year coursing through my veins. Maybe it's the holiday spirit. Maybe it's all the spirits coursing through my veins right now. But I think we played quite well yesterday. Like we really needed to get a win there, and the last 2 results were horrible. We have a lot of players missing. Emery's decision to play with nobody who can defend on the entire left-hand side of the pitch. A lot of things were working against us, and we got the win, other than 2 atrocious pieces of defending. The story of that game is that during the first half, all the players looked like they'd been hitting the Christmas spirits a bit too hard recently. But then we got our halftime kebab, had a chat with ourselves, and completely dominated them in the second half. It just so happens that sprinkled in between, they scored 2 shit goals while this was all happening. It was almost entirely irrelevant to the pattern of the game. We went out, scored 3 goals like we always do at home. Could have scored, should have scored 6 or 7. And Burnley, who are easily the worst team we've played this season, I mean, they have 3 Irish players in their books, for fuck's sake. Just happened to score 2 goals. And because of the panic from the last 2 games, because Longley was on the pitch, because the ball was off the pitch a split second after it arrived and they were near Moussa Diaby, it felt like a slog, but it wasn't. The two goals we conceded were really annoying, and the fact that we didn't score 6 goals is frustrating. But it's going to be okay. And do you know why I know that? Because I'm saying it. I'm sitting here with a fucking hangover the size of the roof on the whole end, but I know it's going to be okay. It's like, we'll get knocked out of the cup now on Saturday, and then it's plain sailing for the rest of the season.
I'll tell you what's happening here. The last game you watched it with me. So no matter what, you were getting a way calmer, more serene experience this time round. And then also, I watched this one. You've watched it delayed. You've ignored everything. You didn't know the result. In fairness, I'll give you that. But I'm watching it with the collective Villa community, and we're all freaking out together. We're all bouncing off each other. We're all cracking up at each other. People are already putting up their team sheet for the next match. And it's just can we just score a goal, please? Can we just stop making the mistakes, please? We're all winding each other up. You're sitting there now, relax. You've had 2 days, another bloody wedding, believe it or not, and you're finally just getting to sit down and watch a bit of football, and life's pretty all right to where you're standing.
I'm just glad I had put a WhatsApp ban on and didn't see your team coming through with Watkins, Duran, and Carlos up front.
Jhon Duran, I'm going to talk about that hero later on. I mean, I'm just going to admit it. A real life WhatsApp win when I saw him when it was flashing over to the subs bench once again. I thought about time, and then I saw Jhon Duran. And I went, for fuck's sake! Because the last time I had just asked, why do we have Jhon Duran and Watkins up top? I'm not in charge. It's all fine. Nobody needs to worry about what I'm thinking. But let's get into the goals. And who else? Who else was going to get the first one but Leon Bailey? And it's Diego Carlos, just a long ball into the channel. I was thinking, and then in fairness, I thought about it a lot after as well. We're spending far too much time watching Diego Carlos stand on the ball, but he sees Watkins going off on a little run, and he just plays it. And like twice we've played Watkins in the last 2 games, a ball in between the centre back and the full back, and twice Watkins has created a goal. Happened both times in this game. He goes and collects it, drives inside. The pass is, I would say it's nice. I'm not sure if he really knew which of them he was playing it to. Diaby and Bailey was there. I assume he hoped it went to Bailey. And, but there's 2 of them there is the point, and he's left it on the outside for the 2 of them to come out, and it's Bailey who likes it. And just a little shimmy. Like, he doesn't panic. This is ice cold Bailey. This is 2023 Bailey. He just takes a little touch past Charlie Taylor, I think it is, and gets a little deflection, but it's just emphatic the way it goes into the roof of the net, and that's what Leon Bailey does in those positions.
Yeah, it's a decent toss over the top for Ollie. I mean, exactly the type of pass we've been moving away from playing him. But when you get him isolated against a championship defender, it is a good idea to do that. And he just shows brilliant composure to stop, stand his man up, realize he's shite, and run past him. And then he plays a bad ball to Diaby, but luckily Bailey is coming in around the back. And the touch from Bailey is lovely to dummy the shot and work the space again at that speed that we see Leon Bailey do everything at. And it's not a good finish, but he probably deserves his luck because of the touch. And sure, if that didn't go in like that, his customary goal would have come some other way anyway.
A few seconds later, Burnley had responded. We had just moved Austin McPhee up the Vyman meter in the last match. We were saying he should have had the perfect hat-trick. He had such a good performance against Man United away from home. And I think this goal maybe just proves that Austin McPhee is still spending too much time moving his little figurines around, dreaming up attacking inventions, and forgetting to just work on clearing a ball into the box. Simple, agricultural, Matt Cash-esque crosses into the box. Can we just practice it? You don't even need to be clever about this. You don't need to be too systematic. Just practice, boys, going up and getting their head on it. And it's just another set piece that we can't head clear. It's come from the left wing. It's O'Shea on Moreno. So it's a mismatch there. And O'Shea heads it across to a Burnley player, past 3 Villa players. And it's Amdouni who puts it in.
Yeah, and in the build-up to this as well, you could hear Unai shouting, ball, ball, ball. And then Diaby takes that far too fucking seriously and tries to run through the Burnley winger, who was facing the wrong way as well. I mean, we had defended that situation quite well. We got bodies back, had them facing the wrong way. And this wasn't the last time Diaby was overeager during the game. We might come back to that later on, I have a sneaking suspicion. But the free kick is a decent clip to the back post. And I know you're not a fan of the blockers and man markers and then the lads who can actually head the ball free to go get it. And I know I've called you an idiot for being so jittery about it in the past. But Conán, Merry Christmas. You were right. I mean, if you have a system that ends up with Alex Moreno isolated with a centre half, it's a bad system. And you don't have to be a season ticket holder at the Aviva to know that Dara O'Shea coming in at the back post shouldn't mean you're fucked. But when he's up against Alex Moreno, you are fucked.
Yeah.
And you also don't need to be a big fan of Tony Pulis to admit that this set piece routine is impossible to defend against. I mean, we've been so fortunate with it recently as well. And we know Austin McPhee is a big fan, and maybe that's what he was thinking. Maybe he just set up his team and thought, if you're good enough to put that ball on Dara O'Shea's head from there, then fair play to you. Nothing we can do about that. But it was so bizarre, such a bizarre setup when everybody in our team who can actually head the fucking ball was at the front post. So where do you think the ball's going to go?
Yeah. Well, it's going to go to the back post, and then somehow they're going to drift across just as it's played back across to the front post. And none of them are there to head clear the second ball. I'll tell you what, if Austin McPhee is really keen on upgrading as well, because, Unai Emery's talking about it, the club are going to look to push on. What a masterstroke, what a coup it would be to get in Tony Pulis alongside him. Co-assistant, assistant, whatever you want, assistant to the chief set piece coach. Just have Tony Pulis in there as a consultant, even. Just in the back post there, works every time, trust me. Anyway, the second goal, ball into the channel for Ollie Watkins. I know we've moved away from it. I don't want to move away from it. He's too good in those positions. And this Konza pass is just gorgeous. It reminded me, not as good, but remember Tyrone Mings' ball to Danny Ings that time? Just a little floating ball in over the top. Great touch from Danny Ings. I think he lobbed the keeper. Was it against Wolves? I'm not sure. But just a curling, kind pass. And yeah, this Watkins ball is beautiful. Or sorry, the Konza ball into Watkins, into the channel, down the right this time. And Watkins' pullback, not as sharp as Bailey, but it's sharp. It looks good. He pulls it back like he's going to go onto his left, and he just goes back onto his right again. And he sets up Diaby, who scuffs it into the corner. I mean, Peter Witt would have been proud of him. He still scored a goal, so it counts, and he was in the right position, and he got the goal and was delighted for him, and I was delighted to see Watkins and Diaby link up again. It seems like a long time since we've seen that.
You're right to point out it's such a lovely ball from Konza. It is Mings-esque as well, but it's absolutely terrible from the fullbacks, the Burnley fullbacks. I mean, I've seen Zuma wrestlers in better shape than that back four. Where the fuck were they going? And it's a great touch from Ollie Watkins, and another great touch, and another great touch. It's a brilliant composure again. And both times with his goal, he gets his head up and he's looking for his man. But just like the first one, it's a really bad ball to Ramsey. But luckily, Diaby is coming in around the back.
Ramsey didn't look too happy about it either. I think he was looking back at Watkins to say, like, that was a shit pass.
And you know what, Conor? He was right. It was a shit pass. Especially because maybe Jacob Ramsey, although he wasn't exactly in a great position to be given out to Diaby, maybe we'll come back to that later. Right. Maybe Jacob Ramsey knew the type of form that Diaby was in, but luckily Diaby doesn't connect with the ball well this time, and so it goes into the net.
I was going to say, thank God it didn't fall to Jacob Ramsey and it fell to Diaby, but as later on we'll show, that won't make much sense either. Then, Jesus Christ. I know you're saying we played well, but it's hard to feel that when you can see the goal like this. I mean, set pieces, we can't defend those. We all praise your high line, so that's very effective, but we're going to concede from set pieces all the time, it seems, and we're going to concede from flick-ons behind our fullback all the time, from just hoofs up the pitch. And this is a goal kick. This is a goal kick, kicked high up into the sky, onto the halfway line, and it's flicked on, and they're through. And it doesn't even have to be passed. They're through. Foster is through, and he goes straight through and scores a goal in behind Moreno. Longley always seems to just disappear in those situations. Actually, it was Pau Torres in this case, and it was Diego Carlos that got closer. Diego Carlos got closer to Foster in stopping this goal from right centre back. I don't know what's going on here. I thought these goals were gone, and when Niall Quinn and Robbie Keane were doing it for Ireland, it was at least they were at the edge of the box. The ball was going in 20 yards out. It was being flicked on, and Keane was sort of just finding a half space, and this is just a full half of a pitch to run onto from a flick on.
It's absolutely terrible. Like, Douglas Luiz has to go to that ball. I mean, he's watching it drop out of the sky for about 4 seconds. Douglas Luiz or Pau Torres. I mean, our defenders are 50 yards out. We need to have pressure on the ball somewhere. Go up and put pressure on that flick on. And I know Foster is stronger than Alex Moreno, But that was Matt Target stuff. Like that was not good enough from Alex Moreno. He was fucking thrown around like a rag doll. It was pathetic. And you said flicked on in behind Moreno. It was flicked on alongside Moreno. Like his starting position is terrible. The fact that he's just jogging around alongside Foster without being able to stop him apparently is terrible. And then Diego Carlos, I'm not going to blame Diego Carlos. He comes bounding in from 50 yards away, well, from 20 yards away, like he said. He comes across, but he doesn't come across enough. Like he almost stops before he gets there, like he's trying to stand up and watch the shot happen before it goes in. Just go across to him now. You've seen how Alex Moreno can apparently defend badly. So come across now, get on that shot. Foster's not going to do anything there. He's obviously going to shoot. Just go to the shot, get on his toe. I don't know what he was thinking, putting in all that effort to come across, complete it. And it's a good hit, but also, again, it's not good enough from Emi Martinez. I mean, Foster does spank it quite well, but to be beating at your front post like that, Emi Martinez will be annoyed at that. I really hope so anyway.
Yeah. The winning of the game, though, and we have to take another moment for Leon Bailey down the right. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's so positive. It's so dangerous, and it did feel like a lot of the time it was like, can we just get it to Bailey? It felt like we weren't getting it to him enough. All the people were freaking out. Bailey was getting the ball and running at them, and here he goes down the right-hand side, and when he looks like he's running out of space, he just cuts inside across the byline. It's so direct. It's so ruthless, and his pass isn't amazing. He's looking for Duran inside. He goes to Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey's touch. Aaron Ramsey needs to wake up here. Like a lot of people, they're talking about this being soft. It probably was, but he kicked Jhon Duran. You've touched the ball in the box, not expecting somebody to be around you. Jhon Duran is going to be around you. That man is mad. Like he comes in, take the ball off your toe, and you've kicked him, and he goes down. And like if he's sharp and up there, if he clears the ball, if he moves it quicker, there's no penalty. You don't need to worry about it. And then Douglas Luiz, in your own time, mate. Douglas Luiz takes over 20 seconds. I counted it from the whistle going. He stands, takes his breather, and he hits it off the bar, off the line, off the bar, and in. Oh my God, the nerves watching that whole match was awful, and it came to a mad crescendo here.
Absolutely. Leon Bailey makes fucking Charlie Taylor look like an absolute child here. And to be fair, Charlie Taylor was looking for his goalkeeper like a child looking for his parents in the supermarket all afternoon as well. He's so dramatic with those back passes. Throwing his entire body behind simple headers under no pressure. How many diving headers did he complete back to his goalkeeper with nobody near him?
I think he had a diving chest at one sage as well.
Yeah, that was so badly completed that he nearly fell on top of the ball with his face. It was mental stuff. Jhon Duran's pace is absolutely terrifying. I mean, it's not good from AJ. You're right. Like he has to know what's going on there. He has to sharpen up. He also has to sharpen his razor as well and get rid of whatever that is on top of his upper lip. But it's definitely a dive from Jhon Duran. Let's get real here. It's pathetic. I mean, no way getting kicked in the bottom of your foot does that to your body. You shouldn't be doing that. You should just turn around and run past Aaron Ramsey, who isn't going to be defending against him apparently. But Aaron Ramsey's asking for trouble doing that. Wake up. You're in the box. You can't just take a touch and then leisurely try to kick it out of play.
Couple of more decisions just before we wrap up the top of the show. It was the Sanderberg red. Vincent Kompany talked about both of them being soft. I mean, one of them was a very late tackle on JJ. Completely obvious yellow. The second one was more obvious yellow. I mean, we need to start praising the referee here in these instances. Like a shirt pull couldn't have been any more clear. It doesn't matter if you think, oh, that's soft. This is the exact reason why when people say we need football people in there and VAR, like, talk about people who would muddy the waters. You would have football people in there saying, yeah, but that happens all the time. It's like, it shouldn't. You should get a yellow card every time that happens, and it's a clear second yellow. And like that Sanderberg red, or the second yellow, all starts from our man Diaby. Great pressure. There was a throw-in, and he was marking three different people. He was sharp across the ground, and he forced that sort of long throw inside. And to talk about Aaron Ramsey not waking it up, Sanderberg thinks he's going to get that much time facing that way in that area of the pitch, and Douglas Luiz nicks in front of him and wins it back. So that was good play from Villa.
Yeah, couldn't have happened to an outside plonker either. I mean, It's absolutely pathetic from Sanderberg. And complaining about those two, like if you were to list out yellow card offences, these would be the first two that most football fans would write down. An unbelievably late tackle nowhere near the ball and then pulling somebody's shirt who's running past you onto your back four. It's pathetic. And whenever I seen Sanderberg, I was going to say take that touch, whenever I seen the ball bouncing up in and around Sanderberg, just reminded me of playing against a shit team. And you know you're better than them and you know the players. Like, how many times have you heard me shout, go, 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 ball, 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 get on the ball? This guy's in trouble. The ball's above his hips. He can't control that. He's shite. Just go take it off him. On his touch, on his touch. It was so simple. And that guy shouldn't be anywhere near a Premier League centre midfield. And he definitely shouldn't have been near that pitch after those two stupid tackles.
Yeah, and we got away with one, I think, with Diego Carlos. If it wasn't a red, which it might have been, but it was definitely a free that the referee didn't give. Like, this is annoying. It seemed like Longley and Carlos both times put themselves in trouble for balls that they got to clear ahead of everyone else, and just their brain not working quickly enough. It just puts them under pressure. Carlos trying to sort of dick this down to himself. Like, I don't know what he was doing. He was just running alongside it, hitting off the ball, and then eventually has to handle it because it's getting away from him. Just sometimes you just gotta put your foot through it. What would Matt Cash do?
Yeah, like we'll assume that he knew he was outside the box and he knew that Stuart Atwell is an absolute psychopath and was never going to give a free kick or red card for that. I don't know. It was a strange decision. I think it was a really strange decision from Atwell as well. I mean, he has to see that Carlos looks at the ball and moves his hand towards it. Maybe Carlos has reacted really well there, realizes that he's thigh and he might get away with it. I don't want my centre half thinking like that. I want my centre half dealing with a really rudimentary ball played over the top.
Yeah. Okay, that's the top of the show. That's the end of 2023. We're going to take a quick breather and we're going to come back with WhatsApp whinges. Starting the new year as we mean to go on with some fines to hand out to players, and it's usually now just trying to keep the ball in play that people are struggling with. And the first one up is Diego Carlos. He's 30 yards out, and I think he still thinks he's in his own half. He's trying to play a pass forward, but we know Diego Carlos is okay at a pass forward when he's got 60 yards. This time he's 30 yards out and he plays a 60-yard pass. It's like that Simpsons meme. Diego Carlos, you have selected power drive. May I suggest feather touch? And he just boots it out of play. I don't know who he was aiming for.
He was aiming for one of his friends in the stand, I assume. I don't know. It was dreadful. It was nowhere near an Aston Villa player.
Yeah. John McGinn tried a right foot across. I mean, John McGinn needs to stop trying right foot crosses. It went out of play.
No, he doesn't. He needs to start completing right foot crosses. This is so simple. He has so much time. He could even have gone on to his left if he was that desperate. It was pathetic. I can't believe he struck the ball that badly, and I can't believe you're suggesting that a Premier League footballer should not hit a ball with his bad foot. It was terrible under no pressure. All he had to do was stick his big toe on that and bend it in across the 6-yard box.
And this was after a bit of filth from Ezri Konsa as well, just like dragging it back to John McGinn. Pau Torres, he tried a right-footed pass and went out of play. He needs to stop right-footed passes.
No, he doesn't.
Emi Martinez, 99th minute, we had a free kick. Emi Martinez kicks the ball straight out of play. I don't think it was intentional. We spent probably 10 minutes talking about Sheffield United. I hope it wasn't intentional, but I didn't enjoy it anyway. And Douglas Luiz, another corner landing over the bar. Come on, stop it. And Douglas Luiz also had a bit of a John McGinn shot as well from the wing, just trickling into the keeper's hands.
Yeah, I mean, Douglas Luiz is far too good to be hitting corners onto the roof of the net. I mean, that's absolutely pathetic. He needs to be putting those on target.
The first WhatsApp whinge. We have two centre halves who look like they struggle with running. Diego Carlos, we talked about him, he runs through the wind like he's lifting his legs up and he's moving through it. Longley looks like he's trying to pull the wind out of the way as he's running. Longley has this really weird gait. I don't know if it's gait or is he just trying to see where the ball is at the same time. And he runs sideways and he's pulling the wind to his side. It's so strange, like he's trying to open a curtain as he's running, with both hands. It's fucking... I don't like it. It makes me jittery just seeing them running, and it's a very fundamental part of football, especially defending. I think both of them have their strengths. Both of them have been good in ways as well, but they're just... I think everybody would probably agree. It's just scary sometimes watching them play,
Yeah,
especially the way we play.
they both do have their strengths, and obviously Clement Longley's one of his isn't his upper body strength if he needs both hands to
Oh,
open a
no.
curtain. But surely this is just something that the lads in the Villa backroom team, there must be somebody there working on biomechanics. There must be ways to make these two lads be able to run more efficiently and quicker. I mean, this they shouldn't have got to this stage of their career without being able to run. They're footballers.
Yeah. Well, I got to 32 and somebody pulled me aside one time and said, you're landing on your heels when you're running. And I was like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. I always wondered why I was so slow. So who am I to give out advice along me? Maybe I'm the perfect person to give out advice. Don't be like me. I blew it, Clement. I could have gone the whole way, but I was landing on my heels. The second WhatsApp whinge. Boys don't respect John McGinn's arse when he's wearing different clothes.
You think he could be showing off his body a bit better if he just wore some pinstripes or something?
I just mean when he's playing in a different position. Like, when John
That's
McGinn's
that's
playing...
not what you said. If that's what you meant, you're a long way from there.
When John McGinn's playing as one of our two centre midfielders, you could say a defensive midfielder, when he has a man behind him, people don't play it. But when he's playing in the wing, when he's playing further forward, they're all happy to play it in the same position sometimes. It takes people a second to think, I can't play that to him because we need him behind the play and we need him not being caught out. But it's still McGinn. He still wants that. Well, McGinn wants the contact as well. I think the best way, if you're playing against McGinn, is to back off him. Well, obviously, because he rolls so many players, but I also think sometimes he gets a bit confused when he doesn't have the contact. He knows where he is when he feels somebody behind him, and then he can spin around him and he can hold them off. He can win a free, he can trickle out. But I think sometimes he worries about turning around and seeing somebody right in front of them. Although then he can just pull out his pitching wage, in fairness. But it's just an interesting one when he's playing on the wing and he comes inside. We're happy to play him that pass no matter who's behind him, but we don't do it when he's defensive midfield as such.
But this goes across most sports that we've ever played as well. I mean, you'll play any ball you want to a forward and complain when they don't control it, but you'll never play the same pass to a midfielder because they couldn't possibly control the pass that you're thinking about playing. Yeah. Like, why are we giving out to the forward? What's going on here?
Yeah, just play it to him again. Respect his arse more. It doesn't matter what clothes he's wearing. There's a great arse underneath there. That's my point. The third WhatsApp whinge. I don't think you're going to like it, judging from your top of the show. I wish we had just stayed in our lane and not got ideas above our station.
Yeah, it has been fun, watching the match and then going through all the meltdowns that have been happening over the last 2 days. And I do think these are all feeding off each other in real time. Like, I didn't know the result, but I was just annoyed that we weren't going to win this match that we were actually quite good in, especially given the last two performances when we were nowhere near good enough. I mean, we completely dominated the second half. I mean, we're going to eventually come around to the Rosenthal Award, and this isn't just your, looking for content and pulling out 40-yard shots and saying he has to score from there. The chances we missed, the chances that Diaby missed, Jacob Ramsey missed. I mean, we should have buried this team. And had we done it, the performance wouldn't have been any different. It's just that Moussa Diaby would have struck the ball in the middle of it instead of underneath it more, at least once, and it would have been an incredibly comfortable afternoon. Alex Moreno can't defend. We knew that anyway. Sure, we knew that going into the match. What has really changed here? Aston Villa created 10 goal scoring opportunities, and that's not including the shots that we had from the edge of the box. We created 10 absolute sitters. We scored 3 of them.
Yeah, I would just like to. It's actually
Score
really cool.
Goals.
Yeah, it was really cool when we were scoring 6 and against Brighton and 4 against West Ham, and putting them to bed a bit more comfortably. And yeah, I don't know. I just like to not have to rely on last minute penalties. From like you say, Duran made the most of it, and Duran was very clever.
Sorry, I didn't say Duran made the most of it. I said Duran dived.
Duran was very clever. Yeah, he game state. He knew the game state. And Crystal Palace, even what a turnaround. Duran again. There you go. Volley. You're not going to take that away from him, are you? Half volley. But the 3 goals in injury time, basically, when we're 1-0 down, get into that match. These are the ones that really give you heart and mouth moments. And you know what? You wouldn't even have that. You would just be enjoying the ride if we did just stay in our lane. Now, we're fucking, like, did this goal put us top of the league, joint top of the league going into the turn of the year? There's just everything to lose now. Let's take a breather. I think I need it. We'll come back after this. How many goals would Villa have conceded with Nyland in goals tonight?
Well, Conor Hourihane would have scored an OG.
Correct. Has El Ghazi ever fucking controlled the ball first time?
Only whenever he's hitting the ball first time 40 yards over the crossbar.
No, Liam. We've had this discussion before about people like Ronaldo, where like you don't take them off because they can do something like that.
You were comparing Ross Barkley to Danny Drinkwater 4 weeks ago. And now you're comparing him to Cristiano Ronaldo.
Such a strange decision. A decision that was grounded in months of evidence that Ross Barkley is afraid of running, afraid of tackling, afraid of the football, for fuck's sake.
I was just trying to make an innuendo there about John Terry.
Yeah, I don't think we dragged the show into that.
If by the end of this podcast I say that Matt Targett had a bad game tonight, then I'll apologise for that. But every time I've said Matt Targett was shite, he was shite. Like, you know, this is the type of shit to get people talking whenever you're trying to watch a football match with them. People can't be trusted to have the correct opinion, so I just avoid them.
The camera caught them and she goes, "He does look like a cabbage, actually." What are you doing? Oh!
It's a fucking disgusting tackle. Get off the pitch and don't speak to your children for a week.
He got Burnley Player of the Year. Think how low that bar is. He got Burnley Player of the Year because he did exactly what was asked of him. Put his head down and hit the ball high. Like that's how you get Burnley Player of the Year. That is not an achievement. He's winning this category. Fuck that.
He was covering for Jack Grealish and Ross Barkley like you would not believe in the last 15 minutes of that.
He was left back a few times.
Unbelievable. That's our centre forward, and that's not an instruction. That's just him seeing that Jack Grealish is brain dead in defence and thinking, I'm not losing this fucking game that I've tried so hard to win. I'll get back, you lazy little prick.
Well, the good news, it's not even good news because it's a double game week. Like, you would think, well, Barkley won't, one of your bench players will now come in, but Barkley will play someone against Sheffield United. So,
the good news, you're falling into the trap of thinking that anyone gives a flying fuck about your fantasy football team. Hit the fucking ball. I don't care what foot it's on. If I did that, I would sub myself off.
I mean, he had the same chance 6 times. The same fucking chance. You think just even by a fluke, he would hit the ball better this time?
He finally came out and addressed those Cristiano comparisons. How do you feel about being called the next Cristiano Ronaldo? And he said, I'm the only Anwar El Ghazi.
Mings was going out of his way to make Jordan look like fat Ronaldo before he was fat. When what he actually is a fat Wesley. He's my favourite ever player to watch. I'd watch Villa if I didn't support them, in the same way I used to watch Real Madrid games to watch Zidane, or Barca games to watch Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
And now he's gone. The future is bleak. But what I didn't need, Conán, was you harassing me since Friday with fucking tweets from in the know fantasy fucking football managers. Why do you keep bringing up Gareth Southgate?
Gareth Southgate is a fucking prick. Do you remember how excited I was 36 games ago, and you know how easily you won me over by saying, "No, it'll be good crack. We'll do a podcast." You're such a fucking cunt.
We have been dancing around this Ronnie Rosenthal Award, but let's get straight into it. And the first nomination, of course, comes from Moussa Diaby. A chance that people might have even forgotten now at this stage. A Leon Bailey corner goes the whole way around to Moussa Diaby at the back post on the volley. He's usually so good on the volley. What the hell was this? Just scuffs it out of play.
Yeah, if ever there was an omen for what was to come, I mean, Jesus Christ, Shakespeare couldn't have composed this one better. Like, it was an absolutely terrible connection at the back post. Like, people will have forgotten about it, not just because of the chances that were to come, but because Moussa Diaby made it look like it wasn't really a chance. I mean, it goes about 6 yards wide, the back post.
Yeah.
Dreadful.
Watkins did well, I think, from a volley.
What a surprise.
Alex Moreno definitely did well. He got his body and his small body in between him and the defender and managed to bring the ball down and flick it over the defender and get it into Watkins. This was a big Diego Carlos up and under, a big rugby kick. Only he wasn't chasing underneath it. He just left it for Alex Moreno to go after, and it bounced in behind. And Alex Moreno made the most of it, flicked it over someone's head, and Watkins got a volley across and did everything right. An amazing save from the keeper.
Yeah, Moreno was hunting it down, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant just again to see that lack of respect. This guy shite the balls in the air, just go in and win it. But I suspect he was flicking it over the defender to himself, because whenever he looked up and he stopped running, it was like he was like, "Oh right, Ollie's there, that's grand." And look, spinning to catch a volley on your bad foot isn't an easy skill for me. But for a centre forward in the Premier League, I want to see him connect them with a ball better than that. Fuck me.
Are you suggesting he should stop using his left foot?
No, I'm suggesting he should use his left foot properly.
Next nomination is Moussa Diaby. It's a well-worked corner, I would say. Douglas Luiz, that one onto McGinn on the byline. Only McGinn plays it back to Douglas Luiz, who rolls it to Diaby. It's rolled, it's sat perfectly. So much space for his left foot over the bar. Talk about omens to come.
Yeah, and there was one just before that as well, though, where Watkins and Diaby got themselves into a little bit of a muddle. I mean, it was so simple, and the ball goes over the top, and Watkins is running through in it. Watkins knows he's offside, though, but he needs to tell Diaby that, because then Diaby's not running quickly enough, and the two of them just let the ball go through to Trafford. I mean, that was a really, really big chance.
Does Diaby pull out a little bit? Like, sometimes I think he bends his run. There's a couple of times when he can block someone down, or he can win a 50-50, or he's in a 50-50. I just don't feel like he goes for them enough, or he's even making that challenge or making the block. Or like, Watkins was offside. He was right to not go for it. Maybe he didn't tell Diaby. I'm inclined to believe that he did tell him very clearly.
But this is the thing, like, Watkins ran towards the ball then as well. It's like when he saw Diaby wasn't coming, Watkins then goes for the ball. I think he needs to run out of the way so Diaby is under no illusion about what's happening here. I think he confuses Diaby, and then Diaby, I don't think he pulls out. I think he's pulling to the right, because if Watkins was onside, I think Watkins is going to flick that with the outside of his boot to just put Diaby around the goalkeeper. Yeah, it was just frustrating to see. Diaby from the corner, I mean, what a lovely routine this was. And then watching the replay, you could hear Lee Hendry speaking over the top of it, saying, "I'll tell you what, the strike's not too bad either." As the ball sails about a yard over the bar, straight down the middle of the fucking goal mouth. Terrible, terrible connection from Diaby.
There were 3 chances in a row then. One of them was Moreno, another sort of bouncing ball into Jacob Ramsey on the byline. Shows a lot of composure, actually, and he pulls it back. And John McGinn's there. And McGinn keeps it down, actually. We're always talking about John McGinn feeling like he has to put his laces through it no matter what. And this time he gets his instep around it. He gets it to the bottom corner. I'd say this is a good save. And the ball's still in play. Then it comes to Diaby. Then it's not as good a save because it's just far too easy for the keeper. Diaby's got a lot of space. Hits it with his left. And it comes out to Douglas Luiz, who just blazes it wide.
Yeah, McGinn's doesn't start far enough outside the post. Diaby has the whole net to aim at. And look, I'd like to smash the ball off James. My socks are too tight, Trafford as well. But if you put it in the corner, roll it in, don't hit it at fucking chest height 6 inches to Trafford's right. I mean, Trafford couldn't believe his luck, I'd say, as that ball was coming at him. Dougie's looked interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that. Like, Trafford was definitely scrambling for that as well, but maybe that was just because he felt like he was in a training session, as lads were just hitting the ball fairly close to him to get him back up off the ground.
And despite all of Diaby's chances, and we're going to come back to a couple more, the winner might well be Jacob Ramsey. Like, this was a howler, an absolute sitter, and it's great link up from Konza and Bailey, our boys, our heroes of the last few months. Yeah, like Konza, it's a 1-2 sort of. Bailey takes a touch, lets Konza go running, and Konza delays the pass. This is a centre half. Like, let's always remind ourselves this when Konza's doing bits like this. Delays the pass, looks up, waits, plays it for Jacob Ramsey, and he's just gotten under it. He's actually hit it wide a bit as well. He's about 5 yards out. He's miles over. This isn't the first time Jacob Ramsey's had a miss like that as well. I remember, like, it just brought back an old memory of him coming across like that with basically an open net and just blasting it over. Probably going to say get your body over it. Just put the ball in. And Konza wasn't happy. If anybody deserves an assist, it was Konza for that.
Yeah, probably brought back memories of Watkins missing these repeatedly as well. But it's absolutely lovely exploitation from Bailey and Konza, just to show how diabolical Burnley really, really are. I mean, 2 players let Konza run past them into the box. Like, Konza gets to the 6-yard box before 2 players realise, oh shit, he's on the ball in our fucking box. And Konza does brilliantly. Again, composure. And this was the thing. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the chances that we had. We were so clinical up until the finishing. You talked about the Ramsey pulling that one back for McGinn, the one that was rolled back for Diaby as well. The goals that we scored where it was Watkins looking up and drilling the ball across to somebody and then falling to somebody else because we had so many players in the box. But this is just like the Ramsey's finish. I mean, Christ almighty. We can talk about Diaby hitting the ball straight at Konza or straight into the north stand as much as we want. I mean, this is terrible. Like, this is as bad an attempt as his brother has made at growing a mustache. I mean, it's unforgivable stuff. You can't be doing that on a football pitch. And also Jacob needs to score those chances as well.
Yeah. Well, three more chances to come still. So maybe there is some sort of substance to what you were saying about Villa playing all right. And it's Jacob Ramsey that sets up Moussa Diaby and Ramsey going along the byline again. This is the thing. I think Ramsey hasn't been that good the last few games. I know he's coming back from injury. He's been frustrating me as well. More and more people getting on his back. The first half, I don't think he was great. I think he won the Aston Westwood Award in the last game. But I think he really grew into this match in terms of like just output. He might not have been completely involved down through the middle third and doing usual Jacob Ramsey bits, but a lot of chances were being created by him in the second half. And along that byline as well, he was showing a good bit of composure. And this is a Ramsey ball from deep, and Watkins misses the ball first. I don't even know if that should be a nomination. It might be. It's that thing we
don't know if it should be a nomination.
It's only because it goes to Diaby then for a chance. But yeah, Watkins does that thing that we do where we miss the ball, and then Diaby gets a touch and still manages to hit it over from close range as well. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Ramsey wasn't good, and he hasn't been good up until but the next 3 chances we're about to talk about, I'd say. Well, the one we just talked about, but it's this thing that we've seen so many times from him. He created 3 sitters doing exactly the same thing. This one starts off with a brilliant 30-yard 1-2 between Ramsey and Moreno. You know how much I love a long range 1-2, Conán. And Ramsey again, like the composure, he looks up. And that left-footed drilled pass that we're all so used to. Like, how many times have we seen Jacob Ramsey do that on the byline? And then Watkins misses the ball. It goes through his legs. And you're like, we don't know if this should be nominated. This is the worst one, actually, apart from Jacob Ramsey. At least Jacob Ramsey connected with the ball with his one. Ollie Watkins misses the ball in the 6-yard box. It's an absolute easy tap-in as well. If he connects with the ball at all, it goes in. Unless he connects with it like Jacob Ramsey connected with his one.
Did he know Diaby was there?
It's a dummy to Diaby. I'm sure if that was intentional, that's nominated for the what the fuck award. You get me dummy in the ball to Diaby, given how he was playing today. His finish is dreadful. So much time, so much space. Just put it in the net.
The next one, like this could be the nomination. This could beat Ramsey, actually. Watkins is fouled and he still manages to set Diaby up. It's brilliant. He's on the ground and he just plays a little delicate pass to Diaby's left foot in the box again. These are all in the box. And he just scoops it over again. Stop getting so under the ball. What is going on?
Yeah, it's brilliant from JJ again. Exactly the same thing. And Watkins should leave it probably, but he does really well after he doesn't leave it. This one he should actually dummy to
You
Diaby.
want
But
to leave it now, do you?
Diaby has to score. I mean, if Diaby wasn't a professional footballer, he'd be a gigolo. The amount of leaning back he was doing in this game, it was bizarre stuff. Like, get over the ball, man. What are you doing? You know how to play football. You know how to strike the ball. Just put your knee over it. What the fuck?
One more nomination, and it's with a heavy heart that we have to bring for the first time Ollie Watkins into this category as well. It's a Moreno. It's a hanging cross, but we can see it's a hanging cross, and Ollie Watkins needs to adjust to that, and he doesn't seem to adjust to it. And I think the annoying thing about this is that we knew this 6-yard header was going to be like that. It was going to be tame, and it was going to go looping over the bar. When, Jesus, he just needed to. Watkins has proven to me on some occasions that he can head the ball well. So he needs to do the Tyrone Mings. He needs to get his neck back and absolutely thump it. And he doesn't do any. He just lets it hit off his head and it goes harmlessly over the bar. This was a 2-2 as well. I was so pissed off at this one.
Yeah, he makes it look like it's a bad cross. But like, he gets up. The ball's not too high. He just decides consciously, because the ball is hanging as well, so he's got a lot of thinking time here. He decides to McGinn it with the top of his head. It was so strange. I mean, at least whenever John McGinn is hitting it with the top of his head, that's because he's crawling along the ground to head a ball that's 6 inches off the ground. But Ollie Watkins, you're centre forward in the 6-yard box. Stick your forehead on that, mate.
I almost want to give the winner to Diaby for the one Watkins assisted him for when he fell down on the ground, because it was just perfect on his left foot in the centre of the goals, really. And he's just scooped it over yet again. Like, I was actually thinking maybe give him too much credit. It's like, I need to stop going for the top corner, just get it in. But just get it in anyway is the point. But it maybe will be hard for Jacob Ramsey to lose this one.
Like, I know what you mean, because Diaby has got everything he wants there. He's got time, he's got space, he's got the ball at his foot. He's not moving anymore unless he's deciding to move. Jacob Ramsey's coming in at pace. The ball is slightly behind him. The Ollie Watkins one, the ball goes through his legs. They're both terrible as well. Gee, I don't know. I you've talked me around there. Maybe it isn't Jacob Ramsey that's won it, Conán. Maybe it is Moussa Diaby.
That wasn't too hard. Wasn't too hard to talk you around. Let's do the Peter Enkelman What the Fuck Award. Diego Carlos is nominated for his handball. Lyle Foster chasing him, and then I've got 2 Clement Longley nominations. One of them was just leaving the ball over the top to Emi Martinez. He lost so many yards to Lyle Foster despite being so far ahead of him. It really showed maybe how fast Foster is as well, but how slow Longley is. And Martinez, I think, just got out. It was like a blocked clearance. Foster got in on top of him. The way I'm talking about Diaby doesn't seem to. And then Longley chasing a ball. You brought up Matt Target. Longley chasing a ball is going down the sideline. He's just so polite sometimes. And I told you I worried about his physical makeup just by looking at the picture of him when we signed him. And I was like, oh, this boy's just not, it just doesn't come across as elite centre half physique. And it's just thrown to the side, and it leads to a big chance for Burnley as well. Just like, I don't want my centre half just being brushed aside at that area of the pitch.
Yeah, you don't want your centre half being ragdolled out on the wing, especially when he was the deepest centre half as well. I mean, if you go out that far, then the ball has to go out of play. I mean, it's really, really bad. The way Martinez dealt with Longley leaving that ball over the top to him, that's how Longley has to go into that tackle. It has to be a block tackle that moves the ball straight out of play and maybe even lifts the guy off the ground as he's doing it. Terrible. Your centre half doing that is unforgivable.
And I think the winner, though, is Alex Moreno trying to double drag back on his way into our box. What the hell is he doing?
I don't know. That's a really good question, Conán. And he doesn't even complete the first drag back. He just stands on the ball and runs past it. It was like he was presenting it to the Burnley winger. Absolutely mental stuff from Alex Moreno.
Yeah. Let's do the Paul Merson. Oh, that's just filthy award. Moussa Diaby, you know what? You're going to get nominated for this. It was an absolutely lovely touch. It was a long lay ball, actually. Our two boys, Longley plays him a long ball. Diaby just takes a little touch with he's sort of lifting he's flicking his foot out, a bit of hip action, and gets it with the outside of his boot as he's running along. It's Bailey-esque, I would say, that touch. And then Charlie Taylor comes in and completely blindsides him from the other side. He's lucky. I don't think he got a yellow card for that.
I don't think he did either, but yeah, no, it was absolutely lovely. It was a great ball, great touch, lovely exploitation of Charlie Taylor's footballing ability.
2 more nominations. Konza, I already mentioned him, just a little flick over a tackle, and then neatly to John McGinn's right foot, unfortunately. And then Bailey has been perfecting this now the last few games. One of them, he did it back to I think it was back to Lucadine at one stage, back to left back, and the tweet was going around in the video, and it looked great, but it was like, yeah, but what's he really done? He's just passed it back to the left back. This time he puts Diaby through down the line, down the right wing. He just brings the ball behind him and he drags it. It just shoves that ball up the line then with a flick. It's great stuff. I'm going to give this the winner, actually, even ahead of Diaby's touch.
Yeah, and he tried a very similar one as well. That when you do that to, well, you probably don't know this, but you can do that to yourself as well by knocking it around the guy. But to be fair to Charlie Taylor, I think he read it and just stepped in and won it on the byline. But it was gorgeous the way he did it. Like the manipulation of the ball at that level in the Premier League is just something to behold. He's a brilliant footballer, Conán, like we always said.
You like Lamb Whedon taking 90th minute penalty award. Only one person to talk about and 2 instances. It's Austin McPhee. So let's do it. One of them, I liked the two men on the goal line this time, not just one man standing behind the keeper. And the Douglas Luiz free almost goes in. In fairness to Austin McPhee, his playing around with figurines has created something here. We really need to look at it a bit more. Other teams need to. We got the goal against United. We almost got a goal here. We just changed it up a little bit. We put 2 men behind the keeper and he just ran out of the way as the ball was being played in, this time from the left. But there's one other thing we need to talk about. This is to really decide if Austin McPhee deserves any credit today from an attacking point of view. We had a free and Leon Bailey hits it into our own wall that we've created. Burnley had a wall. We set up a wall beside them. And Leon Bailey kicks it into our wall. And I was thinking, I get the idea. They were trying to block the keeper. And obviously they wanted to get out of the way. And the keeper wouldn't see the ball coming. And then I just thought, what happened to the art of free taking? Are people not practicing just getting the ball up and down, getting it over the wall and back on target? Maybe we are complicating this too much. I don't want to sound like that person, but Jesus, we created a second wall, and of course we made it harder for ourselves. We doubled the chance that it would get hit, that the ball would hit off one of the players.
It would be nice to see us have a shot every once in a while from a free kick. I think you're right. I mean, like it is at times enjoyable to watch Austin McPhee movies figurines around to see what absolute mayhem we're going to try to create. One instance where I didn't particularly like that was the first nomination for this. It was the two lads in the goal. I mean, come on, can't you get me nominating this? It's like someone turning up drunk to work the day after New Year's and someone asking him, what do you want to do today? Like, we need a new idea. What have you got? I don't know, put 2 on the goal line, I guess. Like, it worked last time. Surely having 2 on there, it'll definitely work this time. And the weirdest thing about this is they both come running out in the direction that the ball was coming in from as well. So you're probably a much bigger risk of an annoyed referee saying it's offside.
That's I don't think
it worked anywhere near as well.
And actually, now we're getting to the stage, because now there's so much infamy around these routines. We're getting to the stage where a referee will look to not be caught out by it. Like, I know this is coming. Like, your reputation precedes you. You're offside, not today, not against me. Let's do the Weimann meter, because by God, I want to talk about Jhon Duran shooting straight up the Weimann meter. Not only does he very cleverly win the penalty, he's actually really good at defensive set pieces. He's brilliant at them. He's always there. I feel very confident. I think there was a long throw this time, and he's just sort of always there at the front of the line. And even if the ball's going over his head, he'll get back. He'll get his neck back, and he'll wrap his head around it, and he'll get it away, and he'll run back out and block it again. He's just pure mayhem, is the word that you just said a second ago. That's what Jhon Duran is. I think he is a bit like Darwin Núñez, and I think he's fast, and I think he's unpredictable, and I think sometimes he doesn't know what's going to happen. And that could spill over as well, just like Darwin Núñez. He could get sent off. He could get rattled. Probably hard to control in this stage of his career. Obviously, there were stories of him falling out and stuff earlier in the season. And then you bring him back in and he's heading set pieces away again. He's winning penalties. He's scoring last-minute goals. I don't know. There's just a nice X factor about him. He's like a joker in the pack. It's just... There's something I really like about Jhon Duran, and I think what it is I don't know what I'm going to get with him. There's something nice about that.
Yeah, and you know, I will very readily dismiss players who people purport to be young. But whenever it's a centre forward, the fact that this lad has just turned 20 years old, there's definitely a player in there. There's definitely talent and ability that's going to come out more and more because he's got everything else he needs. He's got the desire. He's got all the physical attributes as well. It's just getting that little bit of cleverness in and around the box that will come as he gets older.
It's already come.
Yeah. I'd say, like, if we're being polite there, we'll say that's his desire to win at all costs because he's also obviously got desire to cheat.
Because maybe I should couch this a little bit more now, because I had Lyle Foster going down, even though great to see him back, and he obviously got a good goal, even if Martinez was somewhat suspect. But he would rather dive than take a free shot after he already took it round Longley, and it's Longley. He's not recovering. Like he's not going to be able to grab you. He has to grab the wind first to get it out of the way before he can start making his recovery run. Lyle Foster had a chance to shoot there, and he went down, but Jhon Duran did it the other end as well. So maybe we won't go too much about that.
It's absolutely pathetic from Foster, and I mean not being able to run away from Longley, not the dive. The dive is atrocious. I mean, I think that's actually worse than Jhon Duran's. At least Jhon Duran has been kicked. Like Longley, his arm goes up because he's on a football pitch, and his fingertips brush across Foster's jersey, and Foster decides to throw himself on the ground. You're in the box, man. You're facing the right way. You're being marked by Clement Longley. Just score.
Longley did win a good free on the sideline. Some great work from him. Bit of composure. There was no pass on. He held on to it. He won a free. Might have been the Douglas Luiz chance then, but this is the Vitamin meter, so I wanted to talk about little moments like that where I was thinking this boy could go up, yet he's not going up though. And then Ezri Konsa, I sort of wanted to put down, but he got a yellow card for protesting a corner, and it's like, this is the one thing that referees have over you. Like, it's the one thing that they can be competent about and they can be sure about. It's the one comeback they have for how shit they are. If you're losing an argument and someone still manages to leave themselves open to something like Ezri Konsa, just the referee is wrong. He is. He's once again made a bad decision. But Ezri Konsa has allowed him to just give him a yellow card by roaring in his face. There's a bit of passion, a bit of annoyance. Konsa, that ball had to come through to Konsa anyway. We know what was happening. And he just gets a yellow card for it. I don't need Konsa on a yellow card that early in the game for something like that.
Yeah, but he was playing Burnley at home. Like, I don't think it was that big a concern. I mean, I didn't even bat an eyelid whenever I saw that card being flashed. Obviously, Konsa needs to not scream at a referee, but look, it's grand. He was playing right back against Burnley. He wasn't in any danger of getting himself sent off.
Yeah. John McGinn is going up. I mean, the way he protected that penalty, like the penalty spot for Douglas Luiz. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a few Burnley players that wanted to come over and scuff the penalty spot area. And John McGinn literally stood over the spot and bent over and stuck his arse out. I mean, you're not getting through that. We all know. Like, that is the one way we can protect Villa Park Fortress.
Yeah, there was one other moment though where John McGinn and Dougie Luiz weren't protecting Villa Park, weren't protecting our backline. When Foster scored that offside goal, I mean, this is the only moment that I have against them. Was absolutely dreadful ball from the edge of the box by one of our pivots to our other pivot in the box as well. And would you believe that we're wide open after that? And luckily, Longley just remembered the offside rule at the last moment and stopped his run because he was desperate to play Foster onside there. The ball has to be quicker from Burnley, and even if it's not a perfect ball, just play it in behind. There's so much space. I don't know why he's taking that extra touch to then play the ball. Got away with one there and got away with it because our two attacking midfielders are for some reason playing as our double pivot. Well, we know what the reason is because Kamara's an idiot.
It was so clear for Longley. Like the line was right there to the halfway line. All he had to do was look back and see Foster in the wrong side of that line, see himself on the right side of that line, but he still managed to step in and then decide to step back forward again.
No, to be fair to Longley, I think he has to keep running because the pass should have gone. The pass should have gone, and luckily, Longley, to be fair, he does really well once he sees. Was it Brownhill take the extra touch? He does stop then, and I actually think it is good defending because he desperately needs to get back otherwise, because he needs to give himself a head start against Foster, who is in his own half.
I saw some Burnley fans sharing on the line. The line, in fairness, didn't look straight, but the line not being straight made it more likely that Burnley would be onside. So they still weren't onside, even though the line wasn't straight in their favour.
Like, just look at their feet. Unless Clement Longley's got size 18 shoes, like he's not playing him onside.
Yeah. Going up, Unai Emery, he looked sick. He looked like big puffy eyes. He looked watery. It just didn't look well. He looked like a man who presided over the Sheffield United and Man United games. He did say to us beforehand he wasn't going to enjoy his Christmas until maybe after Burnley, and I'd say definitely after the United game he didn't enjoy the rest of the Christmas period. He just got stuck down to work for the Burnley match, and let's say hopefully he can get a few days reprieve now, because he looked under the weather.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a few glasses of lemon water and honey in him now, because he didn't look good.
Yeah, but we have to continue to be very demanding, because now we're in a good position, and now we're in a position to propel ourselves forward into the new year. I've never been as optimistic going into a new year. I'm
glad I've talked you around. That only took 55 minutes.
I've never enjoyed a year as much as that, to be honest. That was unbelievable stuff. The records that we've broken, the amount of wins that we have. Just I watched Aston Villa walk off that pitch at the end with 42 points in the league, joint top in the table, the best home record all year long. And the commentator said they'll have to do a lot better next year. I thought, if they do a lot better next year, they're going to win the league. So I'm happy enough where Aston Villa are, and I'm absolutely ecstatic that we've gotten to a stage where people are looking at Villa win another one, as Look at Dean would say, and they're still saying that's not good enough.
Yeah, like if Villa play the way they've played the first half of this, or for 2023, by this time next year they'll be the champions, and they'll be in the last 16 in the Champions League. I mean, let's get real here. We've been absolutely exceptional.
And that is something we all have to look forward to. Happy 2024 to everyone. Thanks a million for listening. Share it on if you get the chance, because obviously we're late here now, so some people might not have seen it drop. So I would appreciate anybody who can help spread the message, as always. But thank you very much. Hope it was a good Christmas break, and I hope you have a fantastic new year. All the best. See you soon.